Welcome back to Mars Talk. I'm your host, Mr. Overgriff. Let's start by taking a brief look at Earth's history. Mutually assured destruction. Let's talk about it. What is it? In the event of a nuclear war, destruction on both sides would be assured. We don't have 100% defense against nuclear strikes, so we would have destruction on both sides. Therefore, the concept of nuclear war has been avoided due to the concept of mutually assured destruction, or MAD. This has been around for almost a century, probably longer than that. But it's an unwritten law on Earth that we don't engage in nuclear war because of MAD. Let's look at some differences on Earth in government. Federal versus state law, that's a good starting point. In the United States, federal government can arrest anyone found in possession of marijuana. That stands true to this day. In many states, it's now state legal, but the federal government does not care about the state laws and can make these types of arrests. In other words, you could end up in federal prison for the same crime that would not land you in a state prison. How does this apply to the colonization of Mars and the colonization of other celestial bodies? Let's look at it. Sovereign nations agree that they as a nation or as a government cannot claim ownership over a celestial body such as the Sun, the Moon, Mars, asteroids, and other celestial bodies. But does this mean that no one can actually own Mars? The law does not state that an individual or privately owned organization cannot claim ownership of a celestial body. So a private organization could claim ownership of a celestial body, and it would be respected. Here on Earth, we have big business. We have mining companies who extract raw materials from Earth and engage in the trade of such materials. Who owns the mined materials? Technically, Earth does. That includes the people living there. Since Earth itself isn't a person, Earth doesn't care where the resources go. The only people who care are, in fact, the people, Earthlings. In news today, there's a space race to mine the moon for helium-3. Once we obtain helium-3, the moon no longer owns helium-3. The helium-3 then becomes private property, not part of a celestial body. Now let's look at the red planet. Mars will be mined for precious metals. Once collected, this part of Mars is no longer respected as a celestial body, on Earth anyway. Once again, the resources become private property. There is no debate here. There are parts of Mars which will be the property of companies like SpaceX. And since SpaceX is a private company, Earth must respect SpaceX's right of ownership not only to Martian resources, but also to Mars itself. Another way to look at this is colonizing a celestial body makes it private property in the eyes of Earth law. But again, Earth law doesn't really apply on Mars. Only Martian law applies here. Expect to see big changes in government. One such change might be the Martian government claiming ownership over celestial bodies, something that we don't see on Earth. This directly conflicts with Earth. In fact, the Martian government can technically claim ownership of Earth, Earth's moon, and even the Sun. Hell, Mars could claim ownership over the entire solar system, including the International Space Station, which was made on Earth. If Mars governments actually wanted to. How would Earth react to this sort of thing? I'd suspect Earth may alter its view of claiming celestial bodies if pressured by Mars. Earth would not want to see its space station, which is not owned by a particular organization, but instead everyone on Earth, becoming Martian property. The same goes for the moon. And everything else. There's just too much potential to make income using the resources found in these places to risk renting space in such places from Mars. To give you a better idea of how this works and how we see it working in our day-to-day lives, we can compare owning celestial bodies to the whaling industry in Japan. The Japanese do not care how we feel about the whaling industry. The only thing that matters to them is their government. As Earthlings, we will have to evolve our government to compensate for big changes made by Martian governments, and we must maintain diplomatic relations. Otherwise, we risk starting a solar war. And that's it for this discussion. Please leave some comments, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.